Hey everybody, it's Stove Talk with Matt. I think you guys will find this interesting. The sellers in Russia of the sauna stove have a cutaway with ceramic glass or pyro glass, so you can see exactly what's happening on the side. It is all in Russian. I'll show you that. So I went through some of the closed captions the best I could. I'll just show you how this stove works. It's similar to, how the rocket stove makers are making like a vortex stove or like a double shoebox rocket stove, and I'll just show you how these work. And I mean, let me just put the other program on so I can use my cursor. It'll be better. 1 second.
Добро пожаловать на самый жаркий канал. Я сегодня нахожусь у лица компании Гефест с Сашей Верс. Прошу любить.
I'm gonna make sure I turn the Russian down. That ain't doing nobody no good. If you're outside of Russia, that ain't doing nobody no good. Okay guys, I covered a sauna stove in a few videos back, just 1 minute or less if you haven't seen it. The wood is loaded in here through the door. This big neck exists because you put the sauna stove through a wall. There would be a wall here. The people on this side, are naked or half naked. They want privacy, and somebody is loading wood on the other side of the wall. That's why this neck sticks out. To load the wood so the people can have privacy here from the workers that work in the commercial bath or steam house. But of course, they don't sell it like this with this piece of ceramic glass. They're just doing this for marketing purposes. I just found it very interesting because it is similar to like a vortex stove or the people that are doing these double shoebox rocket stoves. But I wanted to show this to you because it is a very thin little narrow area. The gases, again, the wood is loaded here, and all the air comes in from the front. I don't think there's a grate in these stoves, but it's a very narrow. It looks just to be about 3 inches. It hits the back of the wall, and it's a very narrow area between the. This is where the rocks. You pile up your rocks here. This is a cast iron well for the rocks that heat up. You pour water over the rocks and get steam in the steam room on this side of the wall. But as the flames wrap around here, it's probably only 3 or 4 inches. It is very, very tight. And a lot of Russian stoves and effective stoves work this way. And this is actually the opposite of how most cast iron wood stoves work in the United States. They all should work like this. This makes much more sense. In having the gases wrap around underneath this well that holds the rocks keeps the flames in the firebox longer. You could absolutely use this stove just as a regular wood stove in the United States without the sauna piece, because this is like a baffle for a regular wood stove in the US. This is very similar to a baffle. Anybody with an iron stove has this baffle. But the baffle, in most people's wood stoves in the US, you would say load the wood from this side. The baffle pushes the flame and the smoke towards the glass door, towards where most people load the wood for a regular wood stove in the US. And then it pushes it. So in other words, when people open the door to their wood stove, open their glass door, when it's burning, all the fire and smoke and gases go flying out into the living room. So people think their wood stove isn't working properly. It is working. They're not supposed to be opened when the flame is raging. You have to wait to open your wood stove door. But this makes more sense. Why not have the gases fly around to the back and wrap around this way? You could open this door all day long on this model without getting any smoke back into the room, because as you open the door to this model, the air is moving in the direction you want it to move, and it doesn't want to come out the door. So you could just keep adding wood as necessary, and whoever is adding wood in that room on the right is not going to get any smoke in the room. So again, just picture if there was a door on the left side. That's what people are putting up with their, quote, American iron wood stoves that have been built for the last 40 years. And they think, oh, my stove's broken. Well, no, you're not supposed to open the door once it's burning. That is inconvenient. You have to make sure your fire is burning properly. And when it's coals, no flame, just coals, you open the door and add more wood. But they think there's a problem. But this is, I don't, why they all didn't just design it like this. It makes so much more sense. And I will maybe try to find that Russian stove video where the flames go flying towards the back and then they go up to the next chamber. Again, it's similar to how people are making rocket stoves nowadays. Also, my last video, the ancient stoves or firebox of the ancient Aryans, it's similar. But I just was surprised how tight it was. It looks to be just about 4 inches. I'll show you a Russian stove design that's very similar, and it does create a nice draft. It creates turbulence, and it creates a low smoke stove as well. This is a drawing from the old Soviet Union, one of the old books. I have many of the old books from Russia and Soviet Union that actually go back to the late 20s and the 40s. A lot of the rocket stove people, like they kind of think they invented this stuff. The Russians have been doing this for over 200 years. Most of the stuff that the rocket stove people believe they invented. But I don't have the pointer on this program, guys, but the wood is loaded in that second door from the right to the left. Underneath that's a grate. Underneath is the airflow. 95% of Russian stoves have the ash door at the bottom, which is labeled 21 there, is also they call the blower. That's where the air blows up through the grate. And the wood is loaded in at 19 there. And it doesn't. It's just as effective. I mean, to have these sorts of stoves that are hearth stoves without the grate, if you have enough air coming in the front. But the Russians opt to use the grate because they only burn them for an hour and a half twice a day. In the morning, at 7 a.m., say, and then at night before they go to bed. The stoves are not burning 18 hours a day. They burn them, they rage them twice, and then all the bricks of thousands of pounds hold the heat. But you can see how narrow the chamber is. Even though the air, in this case, is coming from the grate, it'll move left, and then it will go through that again, just like the design of the sauna stove. Very narrow. I mean, you have to be careful here. You'd want to err on making it large enough. I mean, if it's too narrow, it'll create speed, but if you add too many logs or whatever, it'll back your whole system up. It's just not worth it, unless you're a master stove builder. But it can be tighter, than you would think. And I'll show you. I think there's a clip of actually this stove in action where he opens. See above 18 there, I don't have the cursor here. Above, what I'm going to show you, above 18, there's another door that's an ash cleanout door. I'll show you in the video, he opens the ash cleanout door, and there's so much turbulence and so much draft that nothing comes out the door. It just goes right up, and you can follow the arrows up, to the left, down, and then out. So this isn't a bell stove, of course. This is a channel stove. The channel stoves are older in Russia and in Finland and Norway and Switzerland and Sweden. But even though a lot of people now think these bells is some new innovation, no, they were using the bells as well. Kuznetsov gets a bad rap because they say, oh, he claims he invented the bell. No, he doesn't. I mean, he right there, it just Podgorovsky or whatever, like in the 20s. Was using a bell. So Kuznetsov admits that. And then the rocket stove people stole everything from, they steal everything and they just think it's theirs. They just say, well, no, it all comes from, it comes from Europe and Russia from 200 years ago. So there's videos on my channel about the advantages of a channel stove like this versus a bell stove. What, is what's right for what scenario. I just wanted to show you this because this particular stove, there's a lot of Russian stoves that the gases and exhaust do go out the back of the firebox, but they move through channels that are pretty wide. I mean, this particular model or design, it's just like that sauna stove. It's very tight. Again, this is a massive stove. This isn't 3 feet tall. I mean, this stove at the top would be 6 or 7 feet tall. So that channel, maybe it's a little smaller. That channel looks like it's real tiny. It's probably 4 or 5 inches, but it's still tight to create turbulence and some initial draft. Okay, here it is coming up. The video footage of this stove's got to be, 30, 40, 50 years old. The one he shows here coming up. And they do what do you call it, plaster the outside for more insulation. So what he's opening up there, that's not the ash door. That's not where you load the wood. And it's nothing's coming out the door. It's going towards him initially, right in his face, but it's going up in front of him because the stove is so hot and the draft is so good. I'll go back and show you. It's the door he opens there is right above 18. It's a little ash clean out door. So the fire is coming right at him initially, and still no smoke comes out the door. It's incredible. It turns up. And when a stove heats up and the channels are, the bricks in the channels are hundreds of degrees, the fire and the flame and the smoke wants to follow the warm channel, doesn't want to just escape out. That's why if you ever look, you have an oil burner in your house, the pipe out the back of the oil burner, on purpose has little holes in it. Years ago, what the hell is this? Has little holes in it. And it's for testing combustion and things. No carbon monoxide or gases escape out the little holes. It just, the smoke and gases want to follow a warm pipe. Now, that's why if you have cracks on the side of a stove from a carbon monoxide or danger perspective from a side of the stove, it's not that dangerous. If you have cracks on top, on the ceiling, or on your cap or metal cap on top, that is dangerous, but not really on the side. It just doesn't want it. Once everything heats up, it doesn't want to leak out the side. So I'll leave a link to this person's good channel. This guy really does a great job.